Greetings, everyone. It's great to be with you once again. Thank you for joining us. I greatly appreciate all that you do by way of learning, growing, and serving on the mystical path. Our presentation today is entitled The Entry into Mystical Experience. Indeed, the weekly studies and exercises of the Rosicrucian Order AMORC equipped us for the mastery of life and greater service. One way this harmonious living is attained is through the entry into mystical experience. We'll consider different ways these entries occur and how to prepare for them. And in that regard, I want to show for you a remarkable work of art by a traditional Rosicrucian, Nicholas Roerich. It's entitled Christ in the Desert, and it was painted around 1933. It's now at the International Center of the Roerichs in Moscow, Russia. We see the very beautiful hues of blues and greens, the wondrous light around the Master Yeshua, the spiritual master, in a way exemplifying our own divine nature, our own selves. The theme in the desert, or sometimes also referred to as in the wilderness, of course, is referring to Master Yeshua's tests and trials and periods of 40 days and 40 nights in the wilderness, being prepared for mystical experience, but also being prepared for the divine mission that was his to give back to others. You notice in the lower right, there's an intriguing figure there. Here suggested symbolic of the temptations and trials. But even that figure seems to be in awe of the great radiations of light that are coming forth. The master has his head bowed, calm, confident, radiant in health and well-being, having passed the tests and trials of life well. Being on a mountain, of course, is symbolic of rising up to the heights, the celestial sanctum, period of cosmic attunement, period of Christ consciousness that we'll do soon. You notice too that there's a subtle graduations of the greens and the blues in the upper register of the painting, giving us a sense of the cosmic and the universe all about, and even a beautiful touch of white light here, suggestive of celestial bodies such as a planet, a system and order that's in all. In this regard, let us prepare ourselves for our period of meditation, our own entry into mystical experience, our own re-enlivening of that experience, our own remembering of it. I invite you to take a few deep breaths now as you look at the painting. Just enjoy the soothing wholeness of the work. Maybe today we've been roughed up a little bit and we need to be soothed. We need to rest. We need to be re-energized. Cosmic attunement, the artist and traditional Rosicrucian, Nicholas Roerich, felt in a way he's conveying his mystical experience to us that helps re-enliven that in us or draw that forward in us. Just as the Master Yeshua had his own experiences, they help draw us into those experiences as well when we attune by these inspiring figures. And just as there's the challenges depicted of life depicted, for example, in the lower right, as seeming fearsome figure there, when we have the strength of the integrated state within us, we can embrace our challenges, see them in a new way, be thankful for them. I invite you this time to close your eyes. Having been enriched and purified with the painting of Christ in the desert. Let's turn inward, let go of the cares of the day. Use this as a mini retreat. Be rejuvenated, reintegrated. I invite you to breathe a little deeper than usual, to the degree comfortable. and to extend your exhalation longer than the inhalation. It's comfortable for you. That act of elongation, the outgoing breath, automatically causes the relaxation response to occur, which is part of the great wisdom of the body, the wisdom of the holy temple that we are housed in. And with each extended outgoing breath, I think you'll find that there's a building or cumulative effect of a very enriching, tonic nature. With each let going of the breath, just let go, release. With each incoming of the breath, feel the increasing presence of the master within, our true nature and guide in life. With each extended exhalation, feeling let go the concerns of the day. We'll come back to them all the more competent, all the more capable after the period of meditation in our presentation today. One of the wonderful things about meditation is it draws us into ourselves. It takes a great deal of energy to be who we are not. But through the meditative process, we come more and more into our true nature, and that releases a tremendous amount of energy for our well-being and that of others in service. Let us not believe these things, but test them and try them and experience them for ourselves. And the true calmness and confidence in living comes forth. This breathing exercise applies many Rosicrucian laws and principles. One of them is the law of purification. It is feel the enrichment, the ennoblement, more fully ourselves, now and always. Feel all there is to feel, all the wondrous, life-giving, healing flows going on within us. Flowing of the blood, the circulatory system, flowing of the electromagnetic energy and the vital life force through our nervous systems. Flowing of the air and the outgoing of the air and its waste products through the respiratory system. Meditation builds up our strength and vitality and resistance in the immune system as well. This and many other systems are at work. We like that deeper integrated state within us, master within, is like unto the great conductor of a symphony orchestra, directing all the harmonies within a nature and body as a unity. Rosicrucians are very practical. It's very important to have the first-hand experience. Through mystical experience, we have the direct experience. We know, and we know that we know through all the vicissitudes of life. Let us experience these things now and more. No matter what's going on in your life, just let go. We'll come back all the more able to deal with it. Novel thoughts, new impressions. The seeming mountains have been worked up in our imagination, could be more, as the expression goes, molehills. We'll see them more for what they are. all the more track on the mystical path, the path of maturity, the path of spiritual evolvement. As we continue with the further spiritual operations of the Rosicrucian Order AMORC, let's now apply the instructions of the key Rosicrucian meditation booklet. Liber 777, which we'll give you resources on towards the end of the presentation. I invite you to further apply the law of purification by saying with me the following prayer and invocation. May the divine essence of the cosmic infuse my being and cleanse me of all impurities of mind and body, that I may enter the celestial sanctum and attune in pureness and in worthiness. So mote it be. Now let us begin our ascent to the heights of the celestial sanctum. We can use all our psychic faculties and imaginative capacity to visualize ourselves, picture ourselves rising up from our home or office or building we're in, feeling the exhilaration, the flight upward, up over our building, our neighborhood, our local geographic area, be it our town or city, going faster and faster. Now up over our county and even our province or state, and now over our great nation and country. And see the great system and order and landforms below, the hills, the mountains, deserts, the water systems, farmlands, whatever is applicable to your locale and country. And let us continue to rise up higher and higher over our continent and even the hemisphere where we dwell. And now the entire great spheroid or sphere, the great ball of the earth, rotating about its axis. And let us look up, going faster and faster, way beyond the speed of light, seeing the great satellite, the moon, revolving about the earth. And as we look up, we see the planets in their elliptical orbits and our local star, the great fiery ball, the sun. So we continue to rise up higher and higher, sensing the harmonious vibrations of the universe, all on the various octaves, what Rosicrucians refer to as the cosmic keyboard. And as we make our ascent, we'll play various octaves on that keyboard, moving towards the master pianist, the master within, capacity in us. And as we go beyond our solar system, past myriad stars and stellar phenomena, the quasars, the pulsars, the great cosmic web connecting the stars and galaxies, past nebula, black holes helping balance the universe. We even sense now the great arm of our local galaxy, the Milky Way galaxy. Let us pass right out from this galaxy and look back at its rotating action, its great beauty, sensing all the more the harmony of the spheres. We rise up higher and higher, faster and faster, way beyond the speed of light as we transcend space and time, as we move from the finite plane, which by the law of correspondence matches the infinite plane. We rise up higher and higher, past galaxies and clusters of galaxies, and even clusters of galaxies that astrophysicists and astronomers refer to as superclusters. Enjoy the wonder and beauty of it all through our psychic and physical senses and spiritual nature, sensing what Rosicrucians term the cosmic. That is the great system and order of the cosmos, all natural and spiritual laws and the universal intelligence back of the cosmos. We rise higher and higher, applying again the law of correspondence. Whereas we rise up higher and higher into the cosmic, we go deeper and deeper within, to the very presence of the divine within. United with this great temple of the divine all about us, sensing the universal intelligence everywhere, entering into the mystical experience thereby. I think you may begin to sense that the entire universe is rotating about a cosmic axis, spoken of since ancient times by mystics and philosophers, and still investigated today. As we go faster and faster, enjoying the exhilaration, the awe-inspiring experience of the cosmic and the consciousness of the cosmic. I invite you to move towards the midpoint of the cosmic axis. Both the universe rotates to its very midpoint. When you reach that midpoint, I invite you to slow up and dwell there in the awe, the great harmonium within our nature and all about us as a unity. Now, applying the law of silence, let us be receptive. The increasing presence of the divine within, the heights of the celestial sanctum. Following the instructions of the booklet Liber 777, you may wish to picture your personal celestial sanctum, your personal sacred space. You may simply wish it to make it the temple of the divine all about you, a great rotating cosmos. Or you may wish to picture an inspiring temple back on earth, or an inspiring place in nature on earth. Whatever it is, fill in the sights and sounds more. Make it real, make it vital. As we continue this visualization, knowing it is our birthright to ascend to the heights of the celestial sanctum and enter cosmic attunement and mystical experience. You may wish to picture those on the conference call with us, the Grand Lodge and Supreme Grand Lodge officers of the Rosicrucian Order AMORC, conducting a convocation. You may wish to picture the visible and invisible masters with you in your personal celestial sanctum. Indeed, all seekers. You have to picture stained glass windows with mystical and Rosicrucian laws and principles all about you. Even incense burning, rising up, applying the law of transmutation, just as we've risen to the heights of celestial sanctum. Smoke wafting upward, helping attune us with the cosmic all the more. Once you filled in your visualization, your personal celestial sanctum, the sacred space, I invite you to shortly to release it deep into the subconscious, then into the cosmic mind. Let's release it now if you're ready by saying with me, if it pleases the cosmic, it is done. So mote it be. Now let us dwell in peace profound, receptive to any impressions that may come to us. At the center of our being, the center of the universe. Just continue to let go, surrender to the divine within. Feel all there is to feel. Meditation is a profound act of non-avoidance. Whatever comes forth, just let go. Deeper and deeper into the experience. As we continue our meditation period, I invite you to partake of another spiritual operation of the work and worship of the Rosicrucian Order AMORC. Let us join together with the Silent Council in conjunction with the Council of Solace, the Grand Lodge of the Rosicrucian Order AMORC. And let us radiate from the depths of our heart and our mind with the assistance of the divine within, our true nature and guide, radiating love and well-being out to all those who petition Council of Solace of the Grand Lodge for guidance and healing. Let us radiate love and well-being to all those who petition our affiliate bodies for guidance and healing. Let us radiate love and well-being to all those you know are in need of guidance and healing. And finally, let us radiate love and well-being to all sentient beings throughout the cosmos who are in need of guidance and healing. Just let the love and well-being flow out like a great searchlight, filling the cosmos, reaching all in need. First, use great inner spiritual force, similar to rising up to the heights of the celestial sanctum. Gradually, the divine within, I think you'll find, will take over. And then no conscious effort is required. The flow will continue. And when that happens, I think you'll find that it speeds up And you know that you're reaching those in need. And then surrender and the sending of love and well-being. Enjoy the exhilaration of the flow. Soon we'll formally close this period of sending of metaphysical aid, but we'll continue our period of meditation at the heights of the celestial sanctum. I invite you to say with me now, close this period of radiating love and well-being, assured that it will continue from deep within us as a way of life. If it pleases the cosmic, it is done. So mote it be. Let us dwell a while longer. The celestial heights in cosmic attunement. So further spiritual operation, this period of meditation, I invite you to apply the law of assumption and the law of cosmic attunement further. Let us feel now as the cosmic mind feels. Let us now experience as the cosmic mind experiences. Let us be the cosmic mind. Let us unite with the cosmic mind. Let us assume the cosmic mind now. Then one with the one. In the consciousness of the cosmic. Soon we'll begin our descent from the heights of the celestial sanctum. Before we do so, I invite you to invoke with me the law of gratitude. Express our thanks to all those who have loved us well. to all those who have taught us well, to all those who have sacrificed well on our behalf. May we continue to be inspired by their example and the example of the divine within, our true guide in nature. This time, let us begin our descent from the heights of the celestial sanctum, going at tremendous speed, way beyond the speed of light, past the superclusters of galaxies, clusters of galaxies, the galaxies, the stars, the nebula, the quasars, the pulsars, the comets, the asteroids, the great cosmic web connecting the stars and galaxies. Enjoying the exhilaration of the descent, taking with us the cosmic attunement. Appreciating the great harmony of the spheres all around us. Great expressions of all the octaves of the cosmic keyboard. Sacredness of the temple of the divine all about us. We see in the distance the great spiraling arms of our local home, the Milky Way galaxy. Let us plunge in the arm where we dwell and speed forth past myriad stars and nebula. See in the distance the great elliptical orbits about the great fiery ball of the sun, our local star. As we come to the beautiful blue jewel, the temple of the earth. Return to the hemisphere where we left off, the continent where we dwell, a great nation, country, our province or state, our county, our geographic area or town or city, now our neighborhood. And I invite you to say with me following prayer and invocation. May the God of my heart sanctify this attunement of self with the celestial sanctum. So mote it be. Let us continue to descend on our home, our office, or building, the room where we left off and however we were situated, feeling remade, re-energized, rested, all the more ready for the work and worship of the Rosicrucian Order, AMORC, now and always. And you may wish to stretch and open your eyes. In the cosmic mind fully imbued with us, so we increasingly recognize it as our true nature. Thank you, everyone. Now we'll continue with our presentation, the entry into mystical experience, which we just experienced and can live out as our birthright. Now it's true, we prepare ourselves always for mystical experience and to live it and be it, sleep it and then eat it, as the expression goes. By mysticism, we mean the full maturation of the human being, the full growing up, full living out of the meaning and purpose of our lives, entering into the full healing, our capacity for service, full therapeutic relationship with all, full direct experience, oneness with the one, the consciousness of the cosmic, and living it out for the well-being of all. For that is its purpose. It's true in preparation through our Rosicrucian lessons and in mysticism in general. There's a central practice of meditation. Other exercises is contemplation, semi-metaphysical aid that we just did, and many other Rosicrucian exercises that we do weekly. We study our lessons, our monographs, we reflect on them, we apply them at every opportune moment through our exercises, but also in our careers and our family life, contact with friends. We apply them in our tests and trials, apply them in the development of the virtues, which form a great foundation for the oncoming or onset of the cosmic sense or the cosmic consciousness, all for the purpose of service and drawing all into that oneness. Now, with our earlier work by the traditional Rosicrucian Nicholas Roerich that inspired us, depicted the life of the Master, Yeshua. There was a time in the desert and the wilderness, but also the time of the transfiguration. The Rosicrucian tradition is not a religion, but there's the opportunity to learn greatly from whatever religion one may have adopted in one's life or growing up in, or not. There's a great open-mindedness in the Rosicrucian tradition. It's universal in its application. Whatever's right for us, there'll be a way to apply the laws and principles. I'm thinking of the transfiguration that's said to have taken place on Mount Tabor in northern Israel. The Master Jesus has received inwardly, the Master Yeshua, inwardly the message. It was the time to ascend the mount, just like he received inwardly the time to draw to the mountain of the desert, in the wilderness. So too, for our own entry into mystical experiences, we need to be on the lookout for inner intimations of where we may need to withdraw to, at what time, and when. We may never had an experience like that before, but the clarity that comes forth through our mystical laws and principles and experiences will know we're assured to do so. He had that experience to withdraw to what's said to be Mount Tabor, and even the insight to take 3 specially selected disciples with him. And at the heights of Mount Tabor, his disciples saw him transfigured, and they saw his association with them, all the mystics down through the ages, but 2 in particular, including. And his disciples wanted to stay on the mount, but he said we must continue, go down in service. So all these great uplifting experiences are for other application and service. That's why we have them. We also have them for other reasons. They also help us refortify us, strengthen us to go through challenging tests and trials for further purification. I know on one occasion for myself when I was 19 years of age, and I was finishing up winter term at university, and I had sensed on a hike, there was a very deep sense of impression within me that I must go there after I finished my exams. And I did that. I followed that impression. In that way, there was a preparation for the entry into the mystical experience. When I was there were certain things that were revealed to me. There are touchstone experiences for the rest of my life that I live out and speak of now. The same with each one of us. I think of, for example, of Muhammad on the mountain. He was similarly called to go forward. It was also inwardly revealed to him the revolvers, hold himself, hands around, clasped around a pillar to go around to mimic the great harmony of the universe that drew him into the deep mystical experience. I think also, for example, the master mystic John of the Cross, in a very challenging period where he was held in prison by other religious because his advanced understanding challenged theirs, uprooted them, but they needed to understand their deeper foundation through the divine within, the master within. Then we're not shaken. And while he was in that prison under very challenging conditions, he heard a person out in the street nearby sing a very poignant, popular song in Spanish. And particular poignant lyrics that I'll translate to you for were as follows. I am dying of love, darling. What should I do? Just die then. And at that point, John of the Cross completely let go, just like we did in our period of cosmic attunement. Any experience of the Christ consciousness, which uplifted him even under those very difficult conditions of being held in prison under physical deprivation. It is something that he would write about later in his mystical poems that were a great gift to humanity by emulating his experience with the cosmic. It was a great service. He also, within his chosen religion, was helping re-enliven it to its original divine purpose. At its core is the mystical experience. And hence the etymology of the word religion means to relink, just as we did in our own meditation period. We were relinking ourselves with our divine and true nature at the heart of the mystical experience. In a similar manner, a great source for entries into mystical experiences are associated with a book that's often beloved by Rosicrucians, titled Cosmic Consciousness. Its first edition was in 1901, written by Richard Maurice Buck, a very progressive doctor and pioneering psychiatrist in North America. And he also talks about one of his own experiences, which led him to write a book on cosmic consciousness. We had spent an evening with two friends discussing poetry and philosophy. So he was already set for a mystical experience. And there was a long drive home, he says, to his lodging. His mind was very calm and peaceful. And he said, all at once, without warning of any kind, I found myself wrapped in a flame-colored cloud. It's a very interesting experience of that because that has a lot to do with the Rosicrucian, certain Rosicrucian exercises. And for an instant, I thought a fire somewhere in that great city. And the next, I knew the fire was in myself. And directly afterwards, there came upon me a sense of exaltation, immense joyousness, accompanied or immediately followed by an intellectual illumination impossible to describe. Among other things, I did not merely come to believe what I saw, that the universe is not composed of dead matter, but is on the contrary a living presence. Became conscious in myself of eternal life. I saw that the cosmic order is such that without any peradventure, all things work together for the good of each and all, that the foundation of the world is love. This vision lasted a few seconds and was gone, but the memory of it and the sense of reality it left has remained during a quarter of a century, which has since elapsed. I knew that what the vision showed me was true, that the conviction has never been lost. And I think that each of us can deeply resonate with this experience. For each person has had mystical experiences, sometimes without knowing it and in different degrees and fashions. Part of the beauty of the Rosicrucian lessons we come into realizing those mystical experiences we've already had, and then the ways to prepare and enter in them all the more. You notice that one of the important things that Richard Maurice Buck did when he was in his way home in the carriage, that when the experience started to come upon him, there was a great calmness. Sometimes there can be like a pin drop, even though you may be in a place that is busy. There's a great building of force, a center of force around oneself. It's always there, but it's a matter of coming in attunement with it and increased sensitivity, particularly as meditation practice we just did. He didn't start to analyze his experience. He stayed with it. He knew in his conscience that it was right, and it was noble, and it was good. He let it unfold. You notice at first he had a psychic experience of fire. He realized it was outside of himself, but then he realized it was a transformative, transmuting law, an operation within him. He continued to let go, let it unfold. And then psychic experience expanded into the mystical experience the totality of joy, all knowingness, all love, and great unity, similar to what we experienced in our own ascent to the heights of the celestial sanctum in our own ways. On a similar way, there's a very beautiful article in the Rosicrucian Digest from 2005. I'll give you the resources for. It was written by the Grandmaster Sven Johansson then. It's entitled The Seven Elements of Mystical Development. And towards the end of that article, there's a description of a person that had a very challenging life, but he was very diligent in his home sanctum exercises and reading the lessons, and look forward to them each week, enriched by them. There was one time he was alone in a room, and similar to Richard Maurice Buck, he started to experience certain things of what was around him, a deep sense of harmony, peace profound. And he goes on to say further, precisely at that moment, I felt a light breeze in the room. It blew on my face ever so gently, a bit like a garment of someone passing close by, leaving small eddies in the air in motion that greatly caressed my skin. I immediately knew I was not alone. I felt the presence of something so sacred that words could not even begin to describe it. With each breath I took, I felt an immense power enter my being. It entered through my nostrils, literally as I breathed in, and I knew I was in the presence of God. The complete solution to all life, indeed all creation, was planted in my mind in a single stroke. I saw a light of the most intense, scintillating brilliance. It was all around me, and everything seemed to have an inner motion. Everything breathed and had life. The whole room, the books, the table, and every piece of furniture seemed to breathe a divine presence. Nothing could have prepared me for what happened next. And as I write these words, my emotions well up with gratitude, and I feel it entirely impossible to convey in words what I learned and experienced over the next several months. Indeed, with this great transformative experience and what unfolded with it, and a great healing took place with him from a particular ailment to his surprise and the surprise of many. You know, ascending to the heights of the celestial sanctum that we just did brings us into this cosmic attunement. And it can be a great re-enlivening, like was just described by Buck and by this particular Rosicrucian student. It can also bring us into the experience. But it can also be thought of as a rehearsal for further mystical experience. There's sometimes when they feel one's back into the our personal celestial sanctum, but instead of taking those 10 minutes that we took to rise to those heights, we're there in a flash or an instant, and things unfold greatly, just as we described. In a way, we are enacting the experience of the cosmic consciousness experience. We re-entered into the mystical experience. So again, the student very wisely let go and was receptive and was prepared. Indeed, some experiences of entry into the mystical state can be what might call the gift of disarmament, being disarmed. Sometimes we may come upon a particular child who speaks with us and we sense their innocence and their divine attunement, or an animal in its harmony with nature. And that disarms us. It lets go our defenses. It's good to have our defenses, our outer senses, and our physical nature. But sometimes we overdo it. And when we're disarmed in a good way through our conscience, we surrender, like I spoke of during our meditation period. And then great wisdom and light can come forth from us. Like the mystic Rumi spoke of. You know, it's a matter of irradiating love. It's essentially unblocking, surrendering to that divine nature. And then the tremendous radiations of love and well-being will come out from us effortlessly through the energy of the divine within as a way of life. Interestingly, on the entry into mystical experience, I think of the master mystic Jacob Boehme, and while contemplating sunlight reflected on a pewter dish, it was highly polished. He entered into the what he referred to as the deepest foundations of the world. And he was so surprised by it, he started to actually think, could this be? But it's good that he held on and kept letting it unfold. But he went outside and he saw in the field outdoors that the inner life of the smallest blade of grass was revealed to him. And he saw that tremendous harmony of the cosmic keyboard, all taken in with a tremendous intelligence far beyond what the outer mind can conduct. Everything's being handled at once with ease. On a similar matter, it reminds me of the mystic and traditional Rosicrucian William Blake's poem, Auguries of Innocence, where he speaks of seeing heaven in the wildflower and the world in a grate of sand. These are actual mystical experiences, often a way of entering into them, the divine, the beauty in nature, the outer impressions that are grasped by the outer self, or clothed in them, help reveal to it these divine experiences that are always within us to be realized. So I've emphasized, let me start to wrap up here. I will say a few more things before a conclusion. We must be ready, be vigilant at all times, and be receptive, and rekindle whatever mystical experiences we've had. They are guideposts in our life through the master within. And I know the concept of surrendering may not be so attractive, but we need to learn to do that. And the outer self will learn that it's coming to greater well-being, greater healing and confidence through this particular type of surrendering to the integrated state. Where it's the outer self, it's not its job to guide us through life. We have to surrender and be receptive to the impressions of the divine within, the master within, where it has its job to guide us in life. In that way, we can be far more healing to ourselves and others, far more on track on the mystical path, far more of greater service. In this way, too, it's good to keep in mind that a psychic experience may come immediately before a mystical experience. So not to think, wow, that's very interesting psychic experience. That's always going to happen. No, there may be more that's going to unfold. That's where we need to continue. We can analyze the experience afterwards, but a true mystical experience will stand up to any analysis. It's our foundation in living. It gives us those deep axioms or impressions which reason from and guide us. Indeed, what is real to us is what we've experienced. And as we expand through mystical experience, what is real will move increasingly in realization more exactly and precisely the way things are, and what Rosicrucians refer to actuality. Indeed, through these matter of a balance of application and living, we'll come to the deepest understanding and spirituality arising through the law of balance. So by way of conclusion, I'll mention to you that we've considered the entry into mystical experience, and that the weekly studies and lessons and exercises of the Rosicrucian Order AMORC systematically, very wisely, gradually equipped us for the mastery of life and greater service. One of the ways this harmonious way of living comes about is attained through the entry into mystical experience. And we've considered different ways these entries occur and how to prepare for them. And I greatly encourage you and all of them in expanded service thereby. Thank you so much for being with us now. We have a few minutes now. If you're so inclined to stay with us, we can have some of your comments. And if you have some questions, feel free to raise your hand at this time, and I'll allow you to come forward. Can you unmute now and address us? Hi.
Hi, and good day, and thank you for this wonderful presentation. I have been challenged with a book I'm reading called The Rosicrucian Enlightenment, written by a woman, Yates,
Yes.
Y-A-T-S. My daughter gave it to me, and she said, Rosicrucian is a religion, and I said, no, it isn't. And
Yes.
I'm halfway through the book, and of course, it disturbs me because they keep talking, she keeps writing about the manifesto that was written.
Yes.
And
Yes.
my question is, um, because in my heart, I don't see Rosicrucian as a religion. It's a way of life. It's a
Yes.
philosophy. It's my guidepost. But
Yes.
this book makes me think that this manifesto thing was related to religion. And I don't know if
Yeah.
you're familiar with this book called The
Oh,
Rosicrucian.
yes. I'm familiar with it. Uh, this is not an AMORC book, but Dame Frances Yates that you're talking to, she was quite an inspired professor, quickly active during the mid part of the last century. And she wrote some very helpful, inspiring books. Uh, Now, we're talking about books that are, many of them written half a century or more ago. And so there's been a lot more research done by scholars as well that have updated her work, but she made a great contribution. However, when the Rosicrucians, we say that they're not a religion, it means they're not an organized religion. We deal with deeply spiritual matters, but we don't, we don't, we deal with knowledge and wisdom. We don't hold on to beliefs. We need to have first direct experience. And so if one has a chosen particular religion, one's understanding will be greatly enhanced. The etymology, as I mentioned earlier, the word religion is to relink. But yes, we're relinking. But this is, it's not, we're an order of mysticism, the direct experience. The religions have come about through their founders having deep mystical experiences, which then they go and expand and promulgate a creed on. But we're called ourselves to have those own deep experiences and come into the full understanding and meaning. And that'll help us to understand all the religions, all the sciences, and much more. So I would take heart, Constance, go with what you deeply understand and the what you're learning from the correct teachings of Rosicrucians. It's true in the manifestos that you're referring to. Each mystic must, and in the order as well, must times express itself in the attire of the day, in the clothing of the day. So if one is in a particularly addressing people that have a particular cultural and religious background, sometimes it behooves to use that language as it is understandable to them. But no underneath it, it's a deep underlying universal current that those manifestos were written from, including the more recent manifestos that were written early in this new century that I think you may know about as well, the Positio Fraternitatis and most so forth, Constant. Maybe
Okay,
we'll let
thank you.
some others go now with a little more time. Thank you so much for your question. Please come forward and speak with us.
Okay,
Hi.
I'm unmuted here. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Oh,
Thank you,
it's just such a beautiful presentation. Just your awareness is really transmitting here. I really feel it. It's just wonderful to hear you talk. And I have a question about the celestial sanctum. I find that, when I ascend into the celestial sanctum, there's less and less that I see. Like I want to visualize a sanctum, but as I get into it more, it's like everything disappears. And I get into this state where there's just nothing, and it's not empty nothing. It's
Yes.
just full of like potential. It's full of kind of like a unmoving energy. And I feel like,
Yes.
well, I need to visualize something. I need to, but I'm just wondering if you could comment on that. Like
Yeah.
my
No,
celestial sanctum is full of nothing and everything.
that's great. That's perfectly fine. And I see that's the deep sense of rightness. In fact, the visualization is actually to achieve that, going beyond space and time, going beyond imagery. We're transcending all those. We're going way up the cosmic keyboard. So it's great you're doing that. Just keep doing it. And thank you for sharing and uplifting us by
Okay,
talking about it, Russell.
so
Okay.
I should just do nothing then.
Oh yes, yes. You'll you'll enter into no thingness and the
No
fourth
thingness. That's
the
right. It's
non-being.
not nothing. It's no
Yes,
thingness. You're right on
yes,
that. Thank
yes.
you.
Thank you. We can take one more question or comment. Do you want to come forward and unmute? Hi,
Can you
Hannah.
hear me? Can you hear
Yes, I
me?
can. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you so much. I really love everything you do. You're such a sweetheart. I have a question, right? How do
Okay.
I know what level I'm on?
So you mean in terms of your development of in spirituality, your degree of realization of cosmic consciousness, and your degree
Yes,
of
yes.
mastership and things
That
like that?
yes,
Ah,
that
okay.
sort of thing. Yeah, yeah.
Ah, well, there's a variety of things to that. Actually, that could be a whole series of presentations. I will mention a few things that if you're finding that your perspective is more expanded, you're not as
Mm-hmm.
upset as easily. You find that you
Mm-hmm.
can take a more constructive perspective on things. If we're finding we can be more loving, if we're finding that we're finding these deeper intimations of the from the master within are coming more often, we're more sensitive to our conscience. We're feeling that there's trials and struggles coming, but they're all revealing important lessons to us. The, these are some, and if we're able to enter more into the cosmic attunement through the celestial sanctum more easily, yes, times will be distracted and so forth, but we can keep returning back. If those things are starting to happen and we're feeling that there's proficiency, and people are often coming to us and remarking our example, what are you doing? Why are you so calm? Or why isn't this affecting you
Yeah.
more? Or they're coming for advice. These and myriad other things can be signs from within and without, Anna, that we're well on our way on the mystical path. And in terms of the level, I would not say I have to be so concerned about that, because increasingly you'll get your answer through the divine within, Anna.
Cool. Thank you so much. Blessings.
Great to be with you, and great to feel everyone's love and cosmic attunement through the one soul. And at this time, we'll conclude our comments and questions